man, just from his verses, just from in my lifetime. And I went to go see Ray Ray, and I begged him to give me a shot at Rockefeller. He was like, yo, I'll try. It just maybe an internship, and I was like, I'll take the internship. And it was Christmas, and it was the day I got my check for $250 and my bad boy jacket. And that same day I quit.
Wow.
I quit, and I was like, it was like,
That's
what?
amazing.
And I was like, I'm going to work at Rockefeller. And it was
They
like,
probably
Rockefeller,
clapped.
what?
Yeah,
What? At that time, Biggie was the biggest thing in the world.
Right.
Jay was nothing, you know what I'm saying? But in my heart, I believe that Jay was going to be, I didn't know he was going to be this big, but I believe that he was going to be something close to
That's
it.
dope. You went with your gut and it paid off.
Straight up.
Yeah.
So the fast forward, now you went from street team work to A&R. Now when Streets is watching your first.
Yeah, Streets is Watching, between Streets is Watching and Memphis Bleak first album. So I was a street team promoter.
But
Dame,
A&R and those projects.
but I A&R those projects. But Dame and Jay noticed that I was getting bored with the street team. They asked me what I wanted to do. I was afraid to say A&R because I never A&R an album. I never put an album together. I never found a producer. I liked producers. I knew who they were. I knew what dope beats were. I knew all that, but I never technically put a record together. So I was shy, but I said it. And Dame was like, bet, you're gonna do it. You're gonna start tomorrow. You're gonna do the Streets Watching soundtrack. And then also they was getting on Bleak for working on an album. Like he hadn't worked on it, he hadn't done his album. He was the second artist outside of Jay on Rockefeller. And then Bleak came to me and was like, yo, you wanna do this album with me? And I was like, yeah, fuck it. And I found the studio. And I just learned early on, like, let's say we had $100,000 for a studio. I found a studio in like Canal Street that was like $30,000. So I already saved money.
Yeah.
So and me and Bleak did that album. It went platinum, and then from there the A&R shit took off.
So what was that like? Like Dame and Jay called you. Were they like come in the office? Like were you nervous?
They just said studio tomorrow. Dame was more like, he assumed he knew what to do or he was gonna figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I always did. I didn't really know a lot. I just figured it out. He was like studio tomorrow. And the first record we did was it's old, but it's all right. It was like Jay and Bleak.
Yeah.
It's all right.
Who produced that?
This kid named Mahogany, which was my man G Roberson. G Roberson and hip hop managed like Kanye and Just, and G right now got like Lil Nas X and he had Nicki for a while, he had Drake for a while.
G's a big
we all started together.
That's
So
a big man.
G had Mahogany, which is the producer. So I found the studio. I called G. I was like, yo, bring your producer through. We got to, we got to get some shit together. Bleak came through, Jay came through, and we did It's All Right. That was my first record. That's A&R.
Now you know there's a saying that family is like chocolate, mostly sweet with a few nuts.
Oh, wow.
Never heard that one.
I don't think they have either.
Now, Kanye is Rockefeller family,
Yeah.
and he will always be.
Of course.
If he called you right now and said, Lenny,
Here we go.
I want you to A&R my next project, what would you say?
He'd never make that call.
No, if Kanye hit you and said he wanted
I don't
you to
even
A&R
want
his
this to
next
go
project,
like out online, like, Lenny that says you, no, but he wouldn't make that call, but I mean, I
But you
manage
do it.
now, I'm a manager now. So like I don't
oh,
really,
you always an
I'm
A&R.
pretty
You
useless.
are.
I guess I could try that. The only person I A&R now is, I mean obviously Jay Axe, but it's Khaled. So I'm Khaled's manager, but because the passion is so strong for the music, and Khaled don't trust many people with his music, and I don't know if you guys know what the Khaled album is like. It's like it ain't easy fucking putting it together. So it's like, it's Cardi, it's Quavo, it's Justin Bieber, it's 21, it's Rihanna. It's like, it's not fucking
So you
easy.
don't have no hands in A&R Khaled stuff.
Yeah, no, as I said, that's the only
yeah.
album I do A&R. Unless Jay says it, Khaled and Jay are the only two people I would A&R for. And I did the last 3 Khaled albums.
But back to the original question, Kanye, you would turn it down.
Yeah, I wouldn't turn it down. Who am I to turn Kanye West down?
So
But
you would do it?
He's doing church stuff. I'm not, I'm not religious. I mean, I'm
getting
in God.
But it's still not he's doing church and
I would be
church.
useless A&Ring a Christian album. How about that? That's the safe answer, right?
Yeah.
Oh, that's the same.
Is that what we are today?
We're-
If we're being
oh,
safe
yeah.
today?
Oh,
TV
okay.
checks, so, I don't know, I'm saying.
We being safe today?
No, I'm saying, I'm
I
honest
mean,
with
he's doing
myself.
church music, but he's also supporting Trump. So I mean,
Yeah.
yeah.
I'm just clear about who I am and what I can do.
in those years that Kanye was over there, what was it like working with him and the whole back in Oakland?
Honestly, it was great, but I didn't get to work with Jay much, honestly.
Okay.
I from the beginning I stuck with Jay. I don't know why. We clicked. I mean, I'm talking about out of Dame, out of everybody. The only other person I became super tight with was Biggs. Biggs was super hard and super like, you know, he was a street dude. He didn't really fuck with nobody. And after a while, I think that he saw that me and Jay's relationship was great, and he saw that, you know, I could be trusted, and like he kind of let me in. But that took like 5 years. Literally, I would get a what's up from Biggs, like a head nod when I was seeing him. But like with Jay, I went to the studio with Jay. I went to the videos with Jay. I went to the radio station with Jay. I went on tour with Jay. So I did everything.
So it's
with
personal
him.
and professional.
Yes, and it just, and again, we clicked. Nobody told me go to the studio with Jay-Z or go to Jay-Z's video. I just went everywhere. And I was like, yeah, I took initiative because it was like, I thought it was dope, and I thought it was like amazing to see and to learn. And I was taking pictures throughout this whole, you know what I'm saying? So I wanted to document a lot of this stuff. So we clicked. So I never, G and hip hop clicked with Kanye, and that's why they managed them.
Right.
And then just everybody clicked with certain people, and it was all love. But I'm saying I clicked with Jay from day one, and I didn't care to even look at nobody else.
So yeah, you brought up the picture, so the photography thing. So how did that come about? Was that like another like passion?
It was early on. I always carried a camera since my man Herbert's here. My man Herbert tell you in high school, I had a camera. I have pictures of all of us, all 4 years.
Yeah.
I always just like to see like how things turned and evolved and changed, and you know, footwear and hairstyles and just everything. The girls in our school graduating from Coach bags to Gucci bags and Gucci bags.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I just love, even if I didn't know what it was back then, I love seeing the changes. And every few months or every year, everything changed. And you look back and you either be like, damn, I was dope as fuck, or like, damn, I was looking nuts. You know what I'm saying?
So your catalog is thick.
It's got
Catalog's kind of
And
crazy.
I mean, you had a gallery opening and.
Yeah, so I did a tester.
Okay.
So I have a book coming.
Yeah, that's about to drop it.
Yeah, I just been bullshitting, but it's my fault. But anyway, it's gonna come next year. So my man Jock is a real heavy guy in Cleveland, and he had the actual museum for exhibit he was doing,
Right.
and he asked me to put some of my photos up. So I thought, you know what, as a tester, I didn't want to do New York or LA till I do like a big, or Atlanta or Miami, till I do like a big show. So I just did a little test run just to see what it was like, and he wanted me to bring my, I have a gold couch in my office that people fuck with and come take a
Everybody
picture.
wants the gold couch. Joy she wants to get on the gold couch.
Trying to get
So-
here.
She's just trying to get on the gold couch.
So Jock let me bring the gold couch, the photos, and display my photos there. And I did it as a tester, and there was like a 4-hour line for the
Right,
couch.
because I was
to
gonna
take a
say
picture.
Cleveland, I was like, where'd that come from?
Yeah.
You're from the Bronx, so it's
It
like.
was total like, and I didn't invite nobody I knew. Like
Okay.
all my friends were like, oh fuck, you need to show, you don't tell us. Because I didn't want it to be about me and people coming to support me. I wanted it to be somewhere else that was random and see if the love was like real, see if like,
Yeah.
not have anything, you know what I mean? Like I'm still hard on myself. I don't think everything I do is like dope or like should be praised, or I just feel
Well,
like
most creatives are, that, you know.
It hard on themselves.
Yeah.
I'm just, you know what I'm saying? So it was just a test run and it was great. And like I said, it was a 4-hour line for the couch. The pictures were like raved about, and it was dope to be a part of that. So now I got a gauge of what it would be like in
Yeah.
time to do a show.
Now, me and you, we've had a lot over the years. Like we mentioned at the beginning, we've been friends for a long time. We had a lot of personal conversations.
Mm-hmm.
But one thing that me and you have never talked about off the record, whether we was together at my crib or whatever, was when Nas dropped that Ether record. When you first heard that shit,
I thought I was asking all juicy questions.
when you first heard that Ether record, Lenny, what was your thoughts? What did you say?
I was tight. I'm not gonna lie. I was super tight. I was super mad. I talked about this recently. I don't know where it was, but anyway, I was tight. I was mad. You know what I mean? I ride for Jay. I ain't no yes man, but I know the potential of what. Yeah, I know the potential of what we have, and I knew what Takeover was. The Takeover was the shit.
Oh, it
You know
was.
what I'm saying? Like, I was more so mad that in my opinion, two of the wrong records were put against each other. So I don't know if you remember the battle, but Nas had like this like breakbeat record that went against Takeover. Which Takeover by far
Takeover killed it.
that. But and then Jay did Super Ugly, which was also like a breakbeat freestyle record that went against Ether. So I just felt like the two
wrong
wrong
records.
records went and for in both their defense, you know, even in Nas' defense, that record he had dropped was nothing compared to Takeover. It wasn't even like a real, you know what I'm saying? And the same. So I was just mad that like I was tight. I almost cried. I mean, I swear to God. No, like anger
your
though.
man,
Not
yeah.
like, oh yeah, we
Well,
love
I fucked
no,
Nas
no,
up if I
I
see
was angry that like on the radio it was like Jay-Z's over. It's done.
And then just earlier they were saying that Nas was over.
Yeah, and that Jay was always like the best thing. He's the best. Like for our culture and for our music, come on, Jay. I don't care if you like him or not. Jay is one of. I don't care if you like Tyler Perry or not. What he's doing for us is unprecedented. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you got to put your opinion aside. And me, even if I don't like an artist, I put my opinion aside and acknowledge like, oh, they're dope. I may not have signed them or done that deal, but they're amazing. So for Jay, it's like you couldn't deny what Jay was and is, and it was like. I mean, every radio station, Jay-Z's finished, career's over. I was
But that is part of the culture too, to build it up. You know,
Yeah,
the media to kind of make it bigger than it is.
Yeah. So whatever, I was tight. And the moral of the story is, like I said, I mentioned this before, I learned how honorable and how much of a real man Jay was. And like, I always look at things in two ways, right? A person is either selfish or they're selfless. And the selfish person obviously is all about themselves and they have their own agenda. And the selfless person is obviously more so about you and everything else around them. And I always try to practice to be more selfless. And
We live, man. This is our first
super
time.
live.
Yeah, we got sirens in the back and shit. Damn, we live. ATL Edgewood. Shout out to the swag shop with Edgewood. Damn. So when Ether dropped, did that cause any? Not to cut you off. Did that cause any division in the office in the rock?
Nah, I wouldn't say that. Everything's always been love and like, you know what I'm saying? Like, little things that happen and like, that's nothing. Every family goes through whatever, but we always was as a unit. I had sent out a text on, at the time it was a two-way.
Yeah, SkyTel.
SkyTel two-way,
Skytel.
yeah. And you could
The silver
SkyTel.
one, the silver one or black?
Yeah, whatever was the new one. Right?
Yeah.
Nah, so you could SkyTel like a bunch of people at one time, like a group text.
Yeah.
And I group text like the crew. And I just was like, fuck that, fuck this, fuck New York, fuck Nas, fuck nah, like, you know what I mean? But just like, Jay's the best, I don't give a fuck what they saying, but it was just me. And then Jay, I was venting crazy. And then Jay called me and just, basically, he like talked me off the edge, you know what I'm saying? And I was like, damn, this nigga's in like in a career battle, you know, against, in front of the world, where they're like, you know, questioning his credibility and questioning how amazing he is and saying that he's done it, whatever the fuck they're saying. And he's calling me to be like,
Calm
chill,
you down.
it's cool, this is life fall, we fall, we stand up.
That's a
You
true
know what I'm
leader.
saying?
That's a leader.
And I just was like, wow. You know what I mean? Like it really took me back, took me away and blew me
So
away.
it would be safe to say you think Jay won the battle?
No, I like that. No,
Jay-
nobody won.
Just
They won.
straight music.
No,
Straight music.
no.
Jay
They
won.
won. They won. They ended up doing business together.
Yes.
They
Yes.
becoming
And
best
that-
friends.
Right.
Yes.
And to this day,
Two
they're
black
like great
brothers, two
friends.
black kings, yeah.
Who done
Yeah.
great music, and that's to me, that's winning. You know,
Yeah.
But I think
when things happen, I wanted Drake is my man, Meek is my man.
Yeah.
You know, there's more
And
obviously.
they back together.
No, of course. I always want the best of, you know what I'm saying, outcome to come out of it because it's never worth that much. You know what I'm saying? Battling is great and competition is great and it's great for the culture if it
Right.
stays in a certain place. You know what I'm saying?
Right. And it circles back around and you can be friends and laugh it off. Yeah. So I want to circle back around to, you mentioned the whole sneaker game. I know you're
Mhm.
into the whole sneaker thing,
Right.
the fashion and all that. So my question is, because I'm a big shoe person,
Uh-huh.
who do you think has the better sneaker game? Fabulous or Wale?
Oh, fuck. That's hard. I know both of them, my friends. I just, no, because they're both serious sneaker collectors, but Fab likes to dress dope and he likes to have everything new. Sort of like a hustler on steroids. Like, you know, you hustling, you want to get everything that dropped, you got the money for it, you want to go copy, you want to get it, anything that's new that comes out.
Right.
That's Fab, right? And he's dope, and he dresses dope, and he has everything that's out. Wale is like a sneaker head. Like history, where it comes from, who designed it, why it was designed, and that's a big difference, you know what I'm saying? So I would say Wale is the better sneaker collector because
Right.
he has the knowledge on what it is. Like, he'll know that either Tinker designed it or this person, like, he knows the history of the sneaker
Right.
and even where it comes from, why it was designed, what's the story behind it. So whereas like, I know Pat's a man, my nigga, like,
Yeah.
he don't really probably care about all that shit. He knows about
just
some
wants
of
the
it,
new news.
but he does
Yeah.
know himself. Like, he'll be like, oh, this is the 86, blah, blah, blah. Like, Fab knows he's smart.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And he has, but you know what I'm saying? I don't think to the extent that Wale is.
Interesting. Now, we both talked about.
Wale's the Wale, though, by the way. Sorry.
Oh, perfect plug.
Right, there you go. It is.
Um,
Yeah.
we spoke at the beginning how long we've been in the industry, both been in for some years.
2 decades.
And we know, over 2 decades. We both know coming up doing the street teamwork and all that, what we had to put into it versus now, just a click of a button. And so much information is everything spread. With that being said, compare artists from 1999 to 2019, and is it quote unquote harder now from both sides, from the artist standpoint and from an A&R standpoint? Are A&Rs really, do you really still need an A&R now?
Yeah.
Do you really need one?
I was at Revolt conference, and there was a panel about this, right? Like gatekeepers, it was called. And is the A&R really needed? I think there's always somebody there that's needed to facilitate and to kind of like acknowledge who, not that what they say means all, whatever, but I think there are certain people who really have a really good ear and a really good knack for talented people. And it doesn't mean that if you all guys are artists in here and you all do your own thing and record your own music and put your music out, that's great. And that doesn't stop me from being able to hear this music and know like, oh, this person has the potential because of the arrangements they're using and because the style that they're doing and because how ahead of it they are. They don't sound like these other 16 rappers. Like some people have an ear to know this is gonna be longevity. I kind of feel like I have that in a sense, right? Doesn't mean I'm the best, doesn't mean I, on my own accord, followed Jake because I thought he was gonna be this. I signed DJ Khaled or signed with DJ Khaled because I thought Khaled was gonna be this. Not now, not 26 hits later in the mud. You know what I'm saying? Like in Miami, DJing at clubs, hearing him on the radio when he didn't have one hit out. There's a million other DJs that do this. And Khaled is obviously way more than a DJ. He's a CEO, he's a producer, I thought he would be like,
Motivational speaker.
yeah, I thought he would be like somewhat of a, and understand when I say this, like a hip hop Quincy Jones, like, but back then. And I'm just saying, you have to have the vision to see that ahead to know there's 36 DJs that exist. I'm gonna fuck with this one. And obviously it's proven because 20 years later, there's a handful that you can pick. You know what I'm saying? So I do think there's a need for, doesn't have to be an A&R, but a gatekeeper who can help facilitate singling out talent that person may not even know they have and taking it and then bringing it to a company and enhancing it. But I also feel like you don't need an A&R, you don't need a record company. And I was having a talk with these people at A3C, and I was telling them that I love that I came from the 90s and I got to live through no internet and no social media, and I got to live through it now, and I'm on both, you know what I'm saying? I have a decent amount of followers, not because I'm popping, not because I'm the shit, no, because I understand how social media works, and as long as I'm working in the business, I'm not gonna let my peers outwork me or out-count me or out-better me. So it's like, okay, we in this? Oh, you got social media too? Word? All right, watch this. You know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna do what I gotta do to stay on top. The minute I'm out of this, I don't give a fuck about no social media. I'm gonna be on a farm, working at Target. Like, I'm not.
You're not gonna be working at Target. Come on.
Listen, I'm just saying when this is over, like I don't care about it. I'm done. If I'm in it, if there's social media, I'm not gonna have 8,000 followers. Anything about 8,000 followers means like you're not up to par. It means social media is right. You're socially putting everything out, whether you're promoting your work, whether you're promoting something that's coming out, whether you're whatever it is. I want to make sure I'm gonna maximize. I'm sorry. I'm gonna make sure I maximize the amount of the volume of what I'm putting out, that it gets as far as it can go. So that's not gonna happen if my following is low, right? That's not gonna happen if I'm not sending out the right message, and I'm sending out a message that I think people are interested in, and I'm gauging that by my followers, by my comments, by my thank yous I get, by the, by the people that, that humble me and show me like, damn, we really like what you got going on, or we like your stories, or we like your history, or we like your humility. So that's what I'm doing it for, and it's all for a culture. It's not for me. It's not so that I can be like, yeah, nigga, I got 300,000 followers.
Right.
Like it ain't for none of that. It's like,
So you brought up AC3 and Revolt, and you have Dreamville and Made in America. How important is that for the culture and for this generation?
I think it's dope because it allows artists to be put on a platform that the artists or the generation before them didn't have the chance to experience, right? I watched talking to people from the 90s, telling them about festivals, or telling them that, hey, Travis just did 100,000, or Uzi just did 70,000, and they're like, what? No, we sure that's for those other people, or that's for rock, or that's for them. Like, no, like we're doing it, and like people couldn't even really understand. And I just love that it's coming to a point where like we are in control, right? Hip hop is probably the biggest and best genre
It is.
in music, and we are doing the number one tour, everything. So that's a testament to our artists and what we're putting into it as fans and as executives. And
hip hop is making big.
They are.
I mean, it's not just the music; it's the whole thing. It's the fashion, the dancing. It's our whole culture that is just
art.
Yeah.
Exactly. Art is taking over. Photography. I mean.
Perfect segue into my next question is with Rock Nation. How are y'all able to juggle? I mean, you got the management arm, you got the sports arm, you got the label arm,
Publishing
arm,
streaming service.
yeah, the type. On my
I
phone,
think it's just a little company.
You all have really grown to the point where I mean, how are y'all able as a
having
great people.
having a great leader. You know what I'm saying? And Jay's a visionary, and I promise you it's all him. I mean, obviously there's a strong company of 200 employees and great leaders like Desiree Perez and Jay Brown and Tata and just Omar and Shari. Recently, two of my peers just became the president of Rock Nation.
Yeah, I saw you
Shari
post that.
Bryant, Shari Bryant,
and
and Omar Grant. These are two young black executives in their 30s, and they are the president, they're co-president of Rock Nation.
That's what's up.
Shari started with us as an intern at 15 years old. Stayed with us for a few years. Went to Atlantic, went there, worked with Meek, worked with,
Pays some real dude.
worked with Steve Stout, and then we just appointed her president, as well as Omar Grant. I helped her hold his first job with Big John. From there, Tata wanted somebody. I put him with Tata, stood up the Rock Nation, started A&R for Rihanna, and now, however many Rihanna albums later and projects later, he's the president of Rock Nation. So we just want to, man, we need to embrace our people and our culture and just make sure that they lead in the way. You know what I'm saying?
Is Jay-Z a real handsy type leader? Is he like a leader? Is he like a micromanager type?
Not micromanager,
He just
he's there. He's in the office every day.
he's hands on with all those different.
He walks by your office every day, greets you, asks you what's going on. Like, I think when you're there, it kind of hits you like, I have meetings in my office, obviously, and Jay walks by, he comes in, says what's up, and they like, fucking Jay-Z just walk out here. You know what I'm saying? Like, but they don't, for us, it's like, it's not, he ain't even Jay, he's Jay, but it's like, he's our boss. Like, your boss will walk around, and that's what he really does. He's really hands-on. That's how he was at Def Jam. He was sitting with Ghostface, or he was sitting with, Luda, or sitting with whoever was signed there, and, helping them do their project, and Fab, and Neo, and Rihanna, you know what I'm saying?
But I don't think people realize like, oh, it's Jay-Z, like he's actually in the office. Like,
Yeah.
People probably think like, oh, he's flying around the country, he's
Yeah,
doing this,
no.
and he's not in the office.
100%.
Yeah, so I mean, how many times do you get like, what's Jay-Z like? I know that question comes up a lot, and I know people probably ask that like a dozen, 1,000 times.
I mean,
Do they ask more about Jay or Beyonce?
I'll never answer that queen,
Yeah.
We always get the queen. But Jay's super cool. He's like the most normal, humble dude in the world, I promise you. Like, there's no ego, there's no nothing. Like, he's probably the most regular guy. I know it doesn't seem like that because it seems whatever, big in life or whatever, but he's a nigga. And I mean that in a good way.
So when he did this NFL deal,
Did y'all have any dialogue about that? Just man to man, sit in the car in the office talking about
Nah, I mean, certain things I don't like to answer because I don't never like to seem like I'm answering for Jay. You know what I'm saying? That's at this time obviously a touchy subject, and like, you know, everybody has their opinion on it. And I just support Jay. He's never let us down or never steered us wrong in over 20 years, and I don't think he's gonna start today. So I've never really questioned. Not saying that I don't have my own mind and my own opinion, 100% do. I'm just saying I go off my gut before anything. And even if there's times where I felt like, oh, okay, it's gonna be interesting, whatever, I don't question it for 1 second because I believe in him and his vision, and it always works.
what from a music standpoint, if there was a music collaboration that you could put together right now that you would like to see, what would that collaboration be?
Damn, there's a few.
Beautiful, huh?
Like a Dipset reunion album. Not even a reunion, a Dipset album. I was just talking about my man Digger, who lives out here. Digger used to produce Cameron, and he moved out here a very long time ago. And we just ran into each other. Well, he came and just said what's up. But we was talking about that. But like that, you know what I'm saying? I mean, I would love to watch the film too. You know what I'm saying?
That was my next question. Could you see that coming?
I don't know. I don't speak for people, but I mean, I talk from a fan
Musically, you
perspective.
would like to see that happen.
Yeah,
I
of
think
course,
we all
I would
would.
love it.
I think we all would love to see that.
But I love collaborative albums. I love them. I love the Drake and Future did. I just love, you know what I'm saying?
And you worked on the, well, back in the day, the Fabulous and Jadakiss, right? That was.
Yeah. And we were trying to do that for a while. Freddie and Jason.
Yeah.
I just love when two artists come together. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and it shows, you know, the unity and stuff. Like you say, like we have the beef, like we have to show the unity as well. I mean, there has to be balance.
I always wanted a Jeezy and Ross album. That's me personally.
You can make that call.
You can make it happen. Come on.
But,
Come on.
you know, they, like we were just saying about the beats, they had some issues, and they got cool.
Yeah.
Hopefully we can get some music out of both of them together. I know they're featuring on each other's album.
Yeah.
But the whole album, both of them.
Kendrick and Cole. There's a few.
That would be nice.
What's next? You're managing.
Yeah. So
Outside of music, are there any things that you see yourself doing
100%.
past the music? What is that?
Film and television, and my photography book, and then I have a 5-book series, so to speak. Each one is different that I'll reveal later, but so that, and then film and television. So I'm like producing some stuff right now, and it's all early in the works, but like it's all legit, meaning like we have sizzles, we have pilots, we have first episode shot, and then we're shopping them. So it's like can't really speak about it too early on, but I'm saying they're legit enough. That
Now,
like,
is this some Shaka Pilgrim? Is she all
Shaka Pilgrim isn't in film and
the
television,
film, okay.
but short of J. But this is something just like me, personal. Yeah. I mean, obviously, one show I have is with Jay, and my man Tim, and my man Guitari. So we have one show that we're shopping right now, like literally. We did pitch meetings last week. So you put a pilot together, or you put a sizzle together, or a first episode of the show,
Right.
and then you go out and shop. I mean, we sat with Netflix, and we sat with Hulu and HBO Max and Paramount, and just all of it,
Do you foresee Tidal doing any of the streaming TV?
Yeah, I think so. And then
Yeah.
actually, me and my man Tim was just talking about that, like putting together some stuff and then actually pitching it to Tidal because they're starting to move in this space.
Yeah. I mean, well, that's where it's
Original
at.
content.
I mean,
Yeah, 100%.
Because you got Netflix, Amazon stepping the game up, so it's about time for Tidal to get in the ring.
Oh yeah.
So now I know, I'm the woman on the show, so I gotta ask the juicy questions.
Don't point at me. I'm about to grab my lemonade.
For all my lady watchers, listeners.
Lady watcher. That's not lady watcher.
Are you single? Ladies like to know that.
Ain't no lady out here worried about me.
What do you mean?
I promise you. Yeah, I'm just chilling. I work too hard. Like.
It's a hard industry.
I can't most of the time. I can't stop women.
Well, I mean, you
You
work.
work
I mean,
Hold
you
on,
work.
no.
No,
You work
I
too
mean,
hard for what? To have a woman?
Yeah, because a lot of times women. Listen, you gonna lie.
Okay, go ahead.
Like Yeah.
I mean, it takes a special type of woman.
Yeah, and my lifestyle is like, you know, sometimes it's not conducive to what women would like to think, the kind of man they want to be with. Like, the perception about me is like, I fuck with mad girls, but I really don't. Because it's like, I throw parties too, so my parties, I'm always showing girls, or if I'm out, work with a bunch of artists, we have club dates, and you know, I like my social media to be entertaining. So on my social media, if I'm doing a party, I'm gonna show girls. Because there's always like artists, a bunch of artists come to my parties, and like guys, and they be like, yo, I'm pulling up to your next shit you be having. You know what I'm saying? But it's for that, it's entertainment. Like, I'm throwing a party. I want to throw a good party. So, and my lifestyle is like that. So, by the way, if I'm showing a girl on my social media, best believe I'm not fucking with that girl. But, right, the simple mind, most women think, oh, he got these, what? He's definitely knocking them all down. And it's like, it's actually the opposite. You know what I'm
But I mean,
saying?
you were engaged at one point.
Yeah,
So,
long
I
time
mean,
ago.
yeah.
And she's happily married, and I'm so happy for her.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Are you guys friends? You engaged?
course.
Yeah, okay.
I've never fucked with a girl who like became my enemy. No, I'm serious. I'm a good guy. Like, I'm
I
not.
mean, but everybody doesn't have that easy, you know?
No, it's not about that. I treat people
But
good.
with the type of person you are from me, no, you're not.
Yeah, I know.
fuck shit.
Yeah, I'm not really. I'm not here, and I'm older. Like, I'm not here to fuck nobody over or like take advantage of women and like, nah.
Yeah.
It's just corny.
Well, speaking of parties, you threw a super dope Halloween party last year. Are there any
Always, every year.
I've been doing it
Every
for
year.
a long time. So it's
Can I
me-
come up this year?
Yeah, of course. Me and my sis
So
Lala.
in LA or in New York?
Both.
Oh.
Hey, talking to Lenny S, y'all. Can
Nah.
I come to one of them?
Look, I'm like, look, I come too, shoot.
Joy, you
So that's another thing. Just to stay like current and stay relevant, I do parties as well. Because again, it just, I don't know, it kind of puts a cool edge on what I do, and like, and I have everybody from like 20 years old to 45 years old coming to my parties. You know what I'm saying? And you don't really feel like you at an old head joint. You don't feel like you at a young.
Right.
Nobody really feels out of place. You know what I'm saying?
Well, that's what I was gonna ask. Is Halloween the only?
No, so I do Halloween, which is called Costume Couture, me and Lala. I do an ugly Christmas sweater party.
dope.
Yeah, I do my birthday party every year is super lit.
My birthday is right around the same
Yeah.
time.
Oh wait, what?
We got
Are you Aries or Taurus? What?
I'm an Aries. Best sign in the world.
Oh.
Tell
Yeah.
Can you tell everybody?
Aries, man.
Yeah,
Thank
you
you.
tell these folks.
I'm sorry, this is a problem?
Yeah, I think exactly.
Y'all bossy motherfuckers.
Man.
Yeah, so I just do those things just to stay cool and relevant, and you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
and the parties are pretty cool. And I started promoting shows recently too. There's a place in Brooklyn called Brooklyn Mirage.
Okay.
Holds like 7,000 people. So like,
That's a big spot.
yeah, me and my partner, we got, Drake there. We had,
Oh, so like
DJ
music
Palooza.
shows.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
When you said shows, and you said Mirage, I thought burlesque or something. I
Oh,
don't
no.
know. I was like-
So the name of the venue is Brooklyn Mirage. Don't we do other places too, but that's the
It's
main one I've been working
7,000?
with. Those 7,000 people.
That's a big spot.
Outdoor in Williamsburg, Brooklyn. Super dope. And I brought Cole there recently for 4th of July.
Oh, nice.
It was
Yeah, and Brooklyn's
ridiculous.
popping right now.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
No,
it's
it's
insane.
ridiculous.
It's like
So,
a
yeah,
limit.
you know what I'm saying?
So some of the artists that was part of the Rock family, you talk to them, like what's going on with Bleak, Beans, do you still talk?
Of course, man. See,
Okay.
these guys were trying to make me have like
Oh, no.
enemies, man.
Because the last interview we did, I want to apologize. There was some stuff
Oh.
that was from my previous person that was that.
They're
Not
great.
Jamie.
They're great.
Oh.
But how's
No, we good, man.
How's Bleak?
I'm-
How's Beans? How's
Let me tell you something. And I'll tell a quick story. I mean,
it's your
so
show.
So I'm just gonna show you how being honorable and why I keep my relationships. So when Rockefeller split, obviously things had to fall apart, and artists had to be let go, and not because they were not good, not because of anything except there is no more company, so there is no more artists. So we had to let go of a lot of the artists. And at the time we were signed to Def Jam, and the Def Jam attorneys were like, "Hey, Jay, we're about to send, whatever, like drop letters to all the artists, managers and or lawyers," which means they're gonna get a letter that says, "Thank you, but no thank you. You are no longer signed to this company."
You're dropped.
And I felt like that was obviously fucked up, right? Because they kind of got let go because of a divorce. You know what I'm saying? Like, it ain't
That's
even
exactly
like
what it was.
they weren't selling records. It wasn't nothing like that. It was just kind of like the company didn't exist no more. So I remember overhearing it, and I told Jay, I was like, "Yo, man, it was gonna go to Bean Siegel and all of them, the whole state property. I was like, yo, I'd rather go tell them, like, you can't, like, I'll be at these guys' kids' birthday parties, or,
Right.
you know what I mean, like, we're like real friends. And, he was like, yeah, it's a good idea, you should do that. You go down and tell them. So I was like, bet. And, you know, the attorneys, they all stuff me like, yo, that's not the proper way to do it, we have to send letters. I'm like, man. So I drove down to Philadelphia by myself. I called a meeting to all the state property guys. So we in there, and you know, each one of them brings 5 guys. So it's like 50 guys. You know, it was a meeting, and we went and met in the studio. So they're thinking, we're gonna talk about this new budget, this new album, right? They're thinking, obviously, Lenny's here. He's the one that comes and does the albums. He's the one that comes and brings the news. And I had to tell them they were getting dropped. So they all looking around the room like, what do you mean? Nigga, like, drop. And I'm explaining it. So Beams, real,
Yeah.
like a real.
Yeah. No. Oh, I know. I know.
Beam stands up and looks at me and is like, what you think we gonna fuck you up right now? And I was just like, I really just shrugged my shoulders like almost like, it is what it is, my nigga, like, I ain't get it, you know what I mean? Like, I'm thinking I'm doing a good thing.
Dead serious.
And he was dead serious. He was standing me and 2 or 3 other niggas stood up, and you know, like Freeway Home was just quiet. Like, everybody was also like digesting, like, I just got fucking let go from my record label. And then Beans walked closer to me, and he started laughing, and he put his hands out, and he was sort of like, if it was gonna be anybody, be glad it was you. You know what I mean? We gonna figure it out. Gave me a hug, and we all went to go eat, and just like, figured it out. You know what I'm saying? But like, my point is like, you just can't do people like that. You know what I mean? In the industry,
Very true.
a lot of people just have a way of like handling people wrong. And even if I would have caught one that day, whatever, like, I don't really care. Like, I care enough to know this message got to be delivered by Jay or representation of Jay or representation of this company that they know, trust. And only maybe me, hip hop, Shaka could have did that. You know what I'm saying? There ain't many people who could have came from Rockefeller or Def Jam to deliver a message like that. And until this very day, I speak to all of them. If Cal is doing the show, I bring all the niggas out to the show. I give all the niggas, they come on stage. Beyonce performing, Khaled on tour with them. They come out, they do their thing. Jay, to this day.
So is that like your piece of advice that you give to, you know, the younger generation or people that come up after you
100%.
about being honorable? Is that
Be honorable, be a real person, be honest, and just like, you know, move with integrity, man. Like, that's all we really got, you know what I'm saying?
Say that again.
Yeah.
Move with integrity. Now, before we get up out of here, since this is our first studio audience, right, Jamie?
yes?
I know it's a couple people out here
You're a
that
crash
been
dummy.
to ask a couple
Come on,
questions.
ask me nothing, man.
Say, dude,
Hey,
you
come on,
fucking
look
mad.
at a room full of people here.
If
Come
they
on,
don't,
man.
shit, then it's all good.
They're here for you.
I'm sure there's a couple people that want to ask a couple questions.
I'm
Yeah.
open.
Yeah, let's open up. We're gonna take a couple questions. My brother right there in the orange, Young King.
What's going on?
What's up, Playboy?
I was gonna say, with you being in this industry for what, 20 years, something like that, what are some things that have stayed the same or things that have changed over time, or has everything pretty much been consistent?
I think what's changed is back, and I never like to tell these things because I don't ever like to sound like an old head who's like,
Right.
back when we did it.
Yeah.
That's why I like to stay relevant, so I never sound like I'm talking about when it was good. Like, I'm still good. I'm good. I'm good. My team is good. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I just feel like there was more work etiquette and more work, the value in like proving yourself, so to speak. And not that I want kids right now to prove themselves, I just feel like people they're more too cool now. Like before, I would have done anything. Like even if I had a real job, I don't give a fuck if Jay wanted a turkey and cheese sandwich. I was gonna make it. If he wanted me to hold it, you know, stay in his car because he didn't want to park, and I was gonna do it. If Bleak needed and I don't care if it was Bleak, the intern, or Jay, whatever it is that needed to get done, I was gonna do it. I do not care. I'm not talking about, and not being funny, but like no disrespect to like making a band and going to get cheesecake. I'm not talking about shit like, that was like TV stuff. I'm talking about being in the office and shit really happening, like, this is what needs to get done. Whereas I feel like now, a lot of people too cool for stuff. They're like, I'm not doing that. I'm not, you know, like, everybody's the shit. And
Or they're entitled.
everybody's entitled. And everybody's too cool. And everybody's too above that. Like, I'm not above.
Fact.
Like, I'll still make Beyonce a tuna fish and jalapeno sandwich.
I would make Beyonce too.
No, but I mean, but it's something like, I don't care who it is, or Beyonce's cousin needs potato
Yeah,
chips,
yeah,
like,
yeah.
people
Whoever
know,
it is,
I'm gonna go and
people
do it.
say.
It doesn't matter if it's my job or not.
Right.
I don't give a shit, you know what I'm saying? And I just feel like my main objective is the principal. And whoever the principal is, if the principal right now is Moneybag Yo, and or Yo Gotti, or Meek Mill, or what Meek Mill was doing what he's going through, we support him anyway as management, right? But going through what he's going through, it's all hands on deck for Meek, and that's whatever it takes. And that's why people like that get in the position they're in now, being a free man in his life, because it's all from Jay to Desiree to Coon to Tok to Phil to Dream Chasers to Rock Nation, like, and that's how we work as a unit. So I don't care if any of them need more, whatever. Like, a man just looked out for me, was like, yo, I got you. Like, it ain't, yeah, I need to get my drink. Like, it ain't, there's no ego with anything I get him a drink. You know what I'm saying? And people, I feel like these days, in this generation, it's like, everybody's a boss. Everybody's a CEO. Everybody's, you know what I mean? It's like, it's cool. Have those aspirations, that's great. But everybody will become CEO day one. You know, there's a ladder to climb, you know what I'm saying?
Before I let the next person ask a question, I had a question on that.
You're doing proud owner.
No, I'm back to me now. Megan Thee Stallion just signed the Rock Nation now, right?
Mm-hmm.
What's your take with the female rap game right now?
You know why I love it? Because I was one of those ignorant people who believed, because of what I saw for 20 years, that a female, it's hard, and I say can't make it, it's hard for a female rapper to make it if she don't have a cosign by a strong crew or a strong rapper. And by the way, 98% of the female rappers were co-signed. I'm not saying that's the only reason they made it. I'm just saying it seemed like the ones who didn't always had trouble. It seemed like the ones who wasn't with,
Right.
Yeah.
with people, right? You
on,
can name every single female. They were connected or assigned to another, a crew or whatever. And I feel like now I love that they don't need a nigga for shit. You know what I mean? Like, they don't need no cosign, they don't need no crew, they don't need, and they are taking over, and I love that. And I'm glad that that mold or whatever got broke.
I mean, it's still tough though, you know, I mean,
Yeah, but it's like,
because they still put us against each other, you know?
yeah, I know, that part sucks, because I don't think, you
Yeah.
know what I mean, I don't know why that happens. Like as if there can only
It's almost like there
four
can
female
only be like
rappers.
one or two
Yeah,
rappers,
right.
like, and there's so many women
I
coming
love-
up in the game that are
Yeah,
just,
and they all got their own
hella
thing.
dope, you know?
I love Cardi, I love Sweetie, I love
Rhapsody got
Nicki,
her,
I
like,
love
I
Rhapsody,
mean, yeah, it's
Sign
like,
rap.
yeah, oh, dope. It's like, give her her Grammy already, like, that album, like, insane.
Megan just signed on from
Management, yeah.
Okay.
She signed to a
She's
production
still signed
company.
to,
She signed to a production
Carl
company.
Crawford.
Yeah.
To the left, to
Yeah,
production.
it's a production company, which those guys are great. And Ferris and partner, like, you know what I'm saying? That's
From a management standpoint.
one has nothing to do with the other. You know what I'm saying? That's production. They do
So-
an amazing job on her
With that
career.
management arm, will you be handling a lot of her stuff? or-
I just help. I'm gonna tell like Christy is running point on it. And
Okay.
again, when you sign a Rock Nation, everybody lends a helping hand wherever it's needed. Okay?
Okay. One more question.
One more, damn. Yeah, take your hands up.
Right here, then we'll get you in the back. Yeah, right here.
Mine's kind of like two questions, but what's your new process for finding artists you want to manage? And who's the last artist that gave you that feeling Jay gave you?
How I do everything off passion. So numbers don't matter. None of that stuff matters to me. It's if I feel how I feel when I've heard certain artists before that make me want to work with them. So you know what I'm saying? That's what I go off of. And I mean, obviously the music obviously means a lot. But I'm just saying, in general, like I don't need all the backup and the antics to like be like, oh, you're popping, you're gonna be out of here. Your streams are. I don't need that. I gotta really, really, really believe in you. You know what I'm saying? When everybody that I worked with, I did it off of passion. Like there were no numbers and there were no big selling records. Again, you know, I left big. It was the biggest thing. Not to say I had anything to do with his career. I was working at Bad Boy as a collective on, you know, but I didn't feel like I made anything happen. I was there when it was already popping. I was like, I think this nigga Jay is gonna be incredible and I wanna be able to try to be a helping hand. And that's why I went over, because it was a brand new company. And I was like, if this is gonna work like I think it's gonna work, I wanna be there for the beginning. Because at Bad Boy, I felt whack. I mean, I just felt like, yeah, I'm part of a winning team that just got there. Like, anybody else in there could look at me and be like, chill, homie, you You can't put in the work. You know what I'm saying? And I ain't never want that. You know what I'm saying? And then the second part is Khaled. Khaled is the you know what I mean? And I know he's a little older now and like he's kind of in the game, but I'm saying I knew Khaled from back then, from before, and I was helping him do stuff for no reason. Khaled would have like 10 artists on his album, right? And I worked at Def Jam. And then when you have an artist on your album, you have to clear it with their record label, right? So if he had Jeezy, Ross, Neo, Jay, they all Def Jam artists, Def Jam has to clear it. So any company would normally look at that and be like,
Oh no.
oh no, what? You're not putting out that's a compilation album on all
For our
our
label.
so it'll automatically get cut. And if they don't like Khaled, or I'm not saying it's the case, but they'll definitely be like, no, for what? Why? Why are we gonna give you all of our artists for you to make money? So I would be the one in there like, and Jay was the president. And while legal said no, and while uppers said no, I'll be like,
Jay, what's up?
and Khaled's gonna be big, like that. And we could use Khaled, like, you know, he's helping us there, and we could have our artists on his album, and we're gonna have singles out breaking them. You know what I mean? They're gonna be popping
Was he
while
still
they're
on the
making
radio
their
in
albums.
Miami in 99 Jam?
Yeah, a little bit, yeah, he's going back and forth. So, you know what I'm saying? So I did all that early, and I always thought Khaled was gonna be like this. I always thought he was gonna be making like, and I was like, you know what? I see it. Like, I just see it, and I'm gonna ride with it. And then I gave him the label, Be the Best Records, at Def Jam. He signed A3C. Sorry. He signed A3C, and then from there, you know, like we just always kept, and we kept going. But, yeah, we just kept going.
My man in the green, big guy back there.
Well, so I do have a question, but I know these little kids.
Nah, you-
I'm gonna bring them up, cause I got that limit
Okay,
there.
cool. So my name is Jabari. I'm a director from Miami, based here in Atlanta. My question for you is, I know you guys, like Rock Nation represents a lot of artists, and you represent a lot of couple sounds, like Angie Martinez, like Sound, etc. Do you guys represent directors and everything like that too?
We don't. I think we're moving slowly into the space of film and television, but we just have like one person in our company of, like I said, almost 200 employees. We only have 1 or 2 people that work in film and television, so it's a slow build, you know what I'm saying? And I just know that the company wanted to focus on sports before film and television and get that going, and we don't like to just like jump into anything right away just because it's hot or just because, and you gotta think about it, I always used to be like, yo, let's try it, because Kevin Hart's my friend, Idris Elba's my friend, Michael B. Jordan's my friend, like we could, you know what I mean? Like, I was always hyped to want to do it, but we focused on sports first, so that'll come next.
I got a couple guys before I take it. A couple guys from Swirl Films here. I know they had a great question they wanted to ask. I think they sent back here. They had a question that was incredible.
Thumbs up. Nice hat.
I don't know. I know you had a question or two that you want to ask.
I mean, one, being that, you know, your first thing that you worked on was Streets of Watching, typically a compilation, and you're with Rock Nation, and the success of the Khaled album, the Dreamville album just went platinum. Have you ever thought about doing a Rock Nation compilation of your artists, putting them in different pairings to kind of push them out, some of the more vets with some of the newer artists? Like, cause it seems like that's coming back in fashion.
Yeah, good question. We did. I did. I don't know. It just. I don't know if I didn't push hard enough or just I didn't concentrate. At the time when I was thinking about it, Omar at the time was also an A&R. Like I say, he's the president now. And me and Omar grew up in the Bronx together, so we've been brothers. You know what I'm saying? So it's easy for us to kick it and work at the same company. And we definitely was like, yo, we should start this, or we should do this, and we could get a song from me. And Dream Chasers, we could get a song from Cole, and we would have the idea, we would like kind of start, and then like, you know, without a budget or without it getting like officially greenlit, I guess, and then he would get busy working his album, I would get busy, and it kind of always, you know, fell through. Not that it was like, it was never set to do it, but you have to take initiative with those things sometimes. And they did do like a Christmas album last year, the year before.
Really?
Yeah. But yeah, it's a good question. I guess nobody took the initiative to really go for this.
He's standing right here. I see him.
Hey, okay. So I'm an artist by the name of Connector. I'm from Portland, Oregon. I actually flew down from Portland, Oregon to come see this.
Man,
Oh, wow, dope.
So my question to you is, as an A&R, how do you determine like what's gonna be the next like wave? Like how can you hear a sound like somebody's album and be like, oh yeah, this is it. This is what's gonna be next.
I I'll be honest, man, I don't have the greatest ear, so that's why I have to go on passion. I got a decent ear, right? I'm not downplaying myself, but like, I don't have the ear that like Puff had, or Jermaine Dupri, or Khaled, or Irv Gotti, or these guys had ears where like they could literally put these albums together and make hits.
Right.
I got an ear that's like half handicapped, but I got relationships. No, I'm being funny, but I'm being serious. But my relationships are flawless. So it's like, if somebody isn't right, everybody's not gonna be as talented as Michael Jordan, right? That's a gift.
Right.
And then you have talent.
Yeah.
I don't have a gift, I have talent. I'm talented, and I'm fucking good at what I do, and I'm good at my relationships. So I may not have the gift to be like, oh, I'm taking this beat, I'm calling Pharrell, I'm calling, and I'm gonna put it together myself, and then here's a hit. I don't have that gift. I have the talent to be like, there's this new writer whose name's Frank Ocean, and he's good on hooks. I'm
So
gonna
you
call
work
Frank Ocean.
like a team.
Yeah, but I'm saying I know how to connect
Put
the
it
dots.
together.
Right.
So like I can say,
You're
you know,
the facilitator.
Jay, you
Connector.
need to get with
But
Frank
let me cut
Ocean.
you off.
Then you need to get with, you know, Retro Boom, whatever. Like, and this is all early on things, and then them guys get together, make a monster. My name is on it, and
I gotta disagree with you something. I gotta disagree with
But
you.
you are.
Because when we were at Virgin and I played records for you, from the two artists that I had, you got an above average ear.
I got a decent ear.
And I'm not saying this because
I'm not denying that. I'm saying I'm a very realistic person with my people. I've tried to be an artist before I was an executive, and I was like, what am I doing? I'm not gonna be great. I may be good, but I don't wanna be good. So why don't I be a great executive who's gonna outlast 100 good artists? So I'm just saying, you gotta be self-aware. That's what anything in life. If you're in a relationship and your girl's giving you a lot of shit, she ain't really giving you shit. You're not listening, and you gotta be self-aware, like, damn, maybe she's not giving me shit. Maybe I'll be on some shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just saying in life, I'm very self-aware of what's going on. I got kids, I got this, I got a job, and sometimes, you know, you gotta, if somebody ain't checking you, you gotta check yourself.
Damn right.
Sure
Before I
do.
bring these two young men up here with this, let me
Yeah, what do you got?
one more question.
Let me
Before
hear
we
it.
gotta go.
One more question.
Let's get a question
Oh,
from
What you got?
because you gotta catch this flight. I'm gonna take hers and yours.
Okay. Hi, my name's Kareem. I have a question. I know you answered the question in regards to the women artists, and most of the time they need a bigger male co-signer.
Used to, yeah.
Used to. So a lot of women right now are bosses. We're running our own companies.
Yes.
We're head of
Yes.
indie labels.
Yes.
I know Rock Nation is huge.
Yeah.
So what is your stance on women taking over a company or being president of companies like Rock Nation without having a male co-signer to say, hey, she's good, but just based off of the work that she put in herself?
No, I mean, it's really just doing the work, and I mean, either way, forget the male cosign, whatever cosign is there. The person who runs Rock Nation, runs it, her name is Desiree Perez.
Desiree.
She's a Hispanic woman, a woman of color, and she is fucking phenomenal. But she's not on
She's
social
hit
media.
too.
She's not on anything. She's not on no platform. So if you don't really, and I don't expect people to know that, if you don't really do your research and history, you're not gonna know. You're gonna think Jay-Z runs it.
Right.
Jay Brown runs it, Tata runs it. It's like, yeah, they all run departments, or they're partners. They're actually partners. They own Rock Nation. But the person who runs Rock Nation is a woman. Same like with Shari Bryant. She's a president. She's running the label. The only reason we did the co-presidency is just because they just work so well together. And Omar comes from A&R. He got the artist shit locked down. And Shari comes from the business side. So it just makes a perfect marriage, you know what I'm saying? But had it been a woman who was doing it, but I have a manager. Her name is Erin Harris. She's fucking phenomenal woman. I'd rather, and before that, Shaka Pilgrim is the other woman I'll prove that.
Because we get the
She's
job done.
genius, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, so I think
Shock is
more women should be running.
I agree.
100%.
Let's get my man right here.
My name's Wes. I'm a photographer, director out here in Atlanta. You put a caption on Instagram for a picture you took. You said it was the greatest image you ever captured.
Mm-hmm.
Can you tell us a little bit about what it was like working with that artist and just the impact that he had on you?
Yeah, I mean, that artist, his name is Nipsey Hussle, and the picture you're referring to is the one of him in the blue, that blue Cadillac behind him. It was 2 or 3 days before God bless his passing, and man, it was my bro, yo, you know what I'm saying? And like, I met him in 08, always kept a good relationship. You know, we became super tight with my brother Emery, and Emery kept talking about we should bring him over to, like, you know what I'm saying? help him out or like, you know, co-manage because he had good management. He was working with Steve O and he had his brother and his team, Black Sam. Like he had a great team, you know what I'm saying? Still does. And you know, we came in there as a partnership and what him and Jay were doing and what, you know, the whole team was doing collectively, you know, we were just gonna enhance what he was doing as we were and as we were going to. You know what I'm saying? Some people have the right vision and they have the right motives and they have everything right, but they just need a platform or they need a company that can enhance. And that's what I love about Jay. You know, whenever you come to work with Rock and Jay, you're getting our 20 years of experience. You're getting our 20 years of relationship. So like, if you can't do it, if Nick can't do it, or if me can't do it, or if Callie can't do it, you know what? Jay can, Desiree can, you know what I mean? So it's a network of like, I can't maybe talk to the mayor, but you know who can? Get the mayor on the phone? Jay can, or this person can, or Jay Brown can, you know what I'm saying? So that's what we about, and that's what was happening. And we were shooting a video for Hire, for Khaled's album, and man, you know, me and Nick had a really great relationship, and like, you know, photography is a hobby of mine, and you know, I always shot him everywhere, and Lauren was already a friend of mine, so him getting with Lauren and them being a couple, I would always tease him and say, y'all my new J and B, because I would always shoot J and B a lot, and like, you know, and I would be with them now a lot more, and I would always shoot them, and I just love shooting them, and they always came out like flawless in photos. So like that day, we was on a break from shooting a video. You know, sometimes you gotta change the lens, and me and Nick was just there talking, kicking it, and I was looking over at the car, and he looked at it, and like Nick always knew where my mind was as far as pictures, and you know what I'm saying? And he was like, "You want that shit, right, nigga?" And I was like, "Yeah, I do." And Nick walked over to the car, leaned on it. He knew what I wanted. He knew that he was looking magnificent, that blue, you know what I'm saying? In the car, and I just went over there and we shot. Man, we only shot like 6, 7 photos, and every one of them shits came out stupid.
That picture was on billboards. That picture was
Billboards
everywhere.
around the world, shit.
What was one thing about Nipsey Hussle when you first met him that just jumped out at you about?
His drive and his vision. Like, drive is one thing. A lot of people come in and be, you know, driven and ambitious, but like the vision of everything that was happening to him 10 years later, he talked about 10 years prior. And you don't see that a lot. You see people talking about things they want to do, and it's very vague, and his was very specific. And his intentions were very specific. And the music he was going to put it out, how he was going to put it out, when he was going to put it out, and you know, what he was going to do with it, and the money he was going to make from it, and businesses he was going to build, and everything was specific. And I never seen that in somebody so young to like foresee and to like predict over a decade in advance.
Deep, man. Well, look, man, before I bring these young gentlemen up, I just want to say thank you. I know you got to catch a flight, man, and I appreciate everybody that's in this room.
Yes.
I appreciate y'all coming out for real.
Yes,
for real.
everybody that's going to be
Thank
watching
you.
on this episode. I appreciate it all. Jamie Page, thank you. Let everybody know what your social media handles are, Jamie.
I'm at Miss Jamie, Jaimee, Page, Paige.
Mr. Lenny, please there. I know you are
I
things
am
everybody knows. You're
Kodak Lens. No, on all socials, I like to keep it consistent. Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Tinder.
Black Planet.
Kodak Lens on everything.
And I am Big Jerry Clark on everything. And we dedicate every show to my late father, Thomas Clark, and to Mr. Shakir Stewart as well.
Yes, sir,
somebody
man.
that you knew very well that I knew.
Damn.
And also my uncle, Mr. Stanley Bethel. And you know, we really appreciate you, man. Great
thank you.
conversation. This was actually part 2. I interviewed him out in LA a couple years ago. So if you want to go on YouTube and watch that interview.
Now let's bring these two
Thank you,
entrepreneurs out.
Yes, what
Yes.
these 2 young brothers Y'all want to tell everybody on the camera about your lemonade? This is incredible.
There you go.
And it's good. I'm not just saying this. This is the best
really
lemonade
good.
I've had. Lenny,
It's really
we're gonna
good.
mix this with some
I'm
Douce.
not even-
It's grown, folks. I mean, y'all. You want to tell everybody because everybody's gonna go online, social media, whatever, and buy. Go ahead.
Okay, so I'm Anthony. I'm Jaden. And we're the owners of Brown Boys Lemonade.
Oh,
We follow us on Instagram, Facebook at Brown Boys Lemonade. And visit our website at brownboyslemonade.com.
You have a question for Miss Lenny?
I just want to promote their brand.
That's
That's
it.
smart. Yeah, question? Okay.
Yeah, we did have a question. So, I know that you don't have a lot of time, but we want to talk to you later on about mentorship.
Oh, of course, 100%. I'm gonna give your mom my info. Call me whenever you want, direct, whatever you need to know. I hope I can help because y'all are doing way better at your age than I was.
Me too.
I don't know how I'm gonna help, but I can definitely
Me too.
order a whole bunch of cases to the office.
Yes.
Sorry.
These are the two brown boys. I cannot get out of here without thanking the swag shop.
Yes.
Yes.
Kia, Zoe,
Everybody.
all this fancy, all live hip hop daily.
Look at the shoes.
Huh? No, I ain't. Oh, you talking about her boots? I'm talking about.
I know.
We got live hip hop daily. We got swirl films.
That's why I asked
We,
that question.
this, we want to do this more often, but
Should.
we couldn't afford this shit off without live hip hop daily, swirl film, swag shop.
Yes, thank you
Appreciate you.
everybody.
We couldn't have done this.
Yes,
So I appreciate y'all. We're about to sign off. Lenny S, Miss Jamie Page, two brown boys. And I am Jerry Clark signing off. This is Joy Alexander signing off as well. Story time with legendary Jerry. Butter ATL. Butter ATL branded. Signing off.